Greetings. This is the Insane Bastard. I have not slept in 28.5 hours, and I'm here to talk to you about something that's been on my mind. I had a conversation with a Christian early on in the semester that I was remembering over breakfast. The conversation was, of course, a debate over whether or not God exists. Now, for this Christian's justification for saying that God exists, she asked me the question whether imperfect beings are capable of acts of extreme goodness and altruism if there's no outside source. Anyone who knows me would know the answer I'd give to that question, so I will not even bother giving it here. However, that question that she gave really inspired me to think about things today. Should I say yesterday, rather? No, it was today. It was technically today in the morning. That there seems to be this school of thought that is popular, not only among Christians, but I've seen many secularists actually have the same school of thought, that people are naturally greedy and evil and wicked and all those things, and that goodness and altruism and kind-heartedness is a deviation from this standard setting which humans have. And there's different justifications for it. And of course, Christians use their mythology to justify it. The secularists claim that it's just part of human nature to be wicked, and that those who are not wicked are either that way simply because they have some sort of strange predisposition towards goodness, or because they were somehow able to intellectually transcend this predisposition to wickedness that they were born with. And I find that eerily similar to the Christian doctrine of acceptance of Jesus Christ. Not exactly the same thing, of course, but there's some similarities there. You can probably see those. And needless to say, I do not really agree with that school of thought, no matter who happens to be saying it to me at the time. What I want to know is this. Why? Why is evil necessarily the basic, I guess, the standard predisposition of humans? Christians and cynical atheists and agnostics and skeptics and secularists alike will say that, well, we can clearly see in the world that people are evil. There's evil things going on all the time. People killing people, stealing, raping, and etc., etc. And I will agree with that. Yes, we can see that there are evil things going on all around us. Does this mean that people are naturally predisposed to evil? Yes, it does. But it does not mean that they are naturally predisposed to evil rather than good. It does mean that they are capable of evil, but we can see also from observation that people are also just as capable of acts of altruism, kindness, and good-heartedness. And I don't understand why people choose to ignore these particular factors whenever they're deciding what the baseline for human behavior is, not should be, but is, and then they explain it away with either Jesus or some sort of intellectual or moral transcendence, or whatever the case may be for whatever particular worldview you happen to espouse. And of course, I know that not all worldviews work like this, but that's what I want to know. Whence comes this school of thought? It seems dogmatic to me. Now, I can say this, that I can imagine why Christians think that way. It's because their scripture, their mythology says so. And I will point out this, that if your scripture and mythology says that humans are naturally evil, or naturally rather predisposed to evil, and that they can only become predisposed to good by transcending this moral predisposition to evil and accepting Jesus Christ, then you cannot use that argument to justify the existence of God. Why? Well, because it's a circular argument. You're using scripture and mythology to justify scripture and mythology. You're using things that you find in your book to defend other things that you find in your book. Well, let me I guess explain that more. Basically, when you ask a Christian anything along the nature of morality and humanity and things like that, it all boils down to because God made it that way. God made us naturally predisposed to evil. And of course, there's different variants on the story. Some people say that, no, it was actually Satan who predisposed us. Some people say that we were predisposed to the same acts that we did before, but they didn't actually become counted as sin until Satan revealed the fruit to Eve. But all that aside, God created all of it, in their mythology, of course. But God himself is a figure in their mythology. Now, if you could find some actual evidence that people are predisposed to evil rather than good, you still wouldn't have a case. Because it does fit with your story, but it fits with so many other models of reality that could just as easily be true. Not to mention that this train of thought is a false dichotomy. Maybe not quite a false dichotomy, but you understand where I'm coming from this. Well, yes, it is a false dichotomy. You're creating a world where people are either naturally predisposed to evil and wickedness, or otherwise predisposed to goodness. I say that the only thing that observation of people in the world can give us is that people are capable of both good and evil. And we can clearly see this. We can see evil in the world around us. We can see good in the world around us. Why this distinction is made by so many schools of thought that evil seems to be the standard and good is a deviation from it, albeit a desirable one, is mind-boggling to me. Of course, good and evil are both subjective things based on people's subjective value systems. Anyway, I've probably rambled on too much. Leave your comments, up-thumb this video, subscribe, and this has been the Insane Bastard. Life is like a dick. When it gets hard, fuck it. Peace the fuck out.